men's tournament this year is definitely the opening act or the undercard or, at the bottom of the marquee, however you want to put it. Because tonight, put it to you like this, and I say this tongue in cheek, obviously.
Monday Night Basketball.
If we could have different 3-point lines. Can we have a double elimination women's tournament? Because I really don't want to see any of the 4 teams and their headliners going home tonight. Like, I can't imagine a bigger night, and I'm not even going to qualify. Because I was thinking about this earlier. I really want to retire the whole, this is good for the women's game. This is good. Like, no, man. Like, the next step in the evolution of the conversation around women's basketball is to stop, doing that patronizing thing of like acting as though the women's game is new, or it's a novel concept, or like there isn't a high level of basketball, a very high level of basketball, and the biggest stars aren't on the women's side. Like, it's good for the women's game. No, it's good for the sport of basketball. Gender aside, tonight is great for the sport of basketball. It is going to be a great hoops night because of the stars. The star power is incredible. Make me wish we had a show tomorrow, but I'm not trying to come to work. But I'm just saying, like, what was it? Was it 10 million? Was it 10 million people watched the Iowa LSU championship game last year? Like 9.9, something like that. 10 million people, something ratings. Like tonight, I would love. I can't wait to see not just the outcome of these games, but the final tally of eyeballs or engagement when it comes to getting, Caitlin and Angel again, and Paige and JuJu. It's like, and that's not to slight any of the supporting actors, but those are that's the Mount Rushmore, if you will, of tonight's action. And that's just the players. We'll get to one of the coaches in particular in a second. Oh, and then meanwhile, here's South Carolina is over here undefeated, just chilling. But NC State's women are in it. Like, they're just over there chilling. NC State's women are representing, and South Carolina 36-0. But tonight, I cannot imagine a bigger night, again, in the women's game in particular, but for the sport in general, when you talk about the star power that's going to be on display in those 2 games. Like, I don't know if it gets any bigger than tonight. With all respect to the actual Final Four at the national championship.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And you know what's so great about it is that this has happened. I'm going to give the women. The credit for making it happen. So this has all based off of their own popularity, their own advocacy of what they have and who they are. So a lot of these women, I'm just talking about not just college basketball, but I think the WNBA has to be rolled into this conversation too, because a lot of the professional athletes in the WNBA have done a good job of setting the tone for, hey, this is how we roll. This is how we move. If we see something that we like, we speak about it. If we see something that we don't like and it's a cause, we take up the cause. This is what we do. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a global issue. It could be, hey, I'm going to wear what I wear. I'm going to model. I'm going to sing. I'm going to wind up here. I'm going to be visible about it. I'm going to have it on social media. I got a great following. I'm showing people my personality. So I think professional WNBA athletes have done that. College athletes have done that so well that there is a following. There's a following of people who just watch women's basketball. And then there's a following of those like us who like men's basketball, women's basketball, and recognized how great the product is. So give them credit for getting it to this level. It wasn't by accident, and it didn't come from the networks. The networks didn't create it. That media, mainstream media didn't create it. It just kind of was like a groundswell. Yeah, it was a groundswell, and it kind of got us to this point. I like that.
For sure.
And that being said, a lot of great storylines.
Not a great
But
storyline.
Caitlin versus Angel is the one I'm here for that. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I don't want to see it end. I don't want to see. That's all. I mean, somebody got to go home, unfortunately. And you know, just Paige's comeback has been incredible. JuJu's rise has been incredible. But of course, you know, the rematch is one. And then it's like, I guess if I had to, like, who I got? Oh man, who am I rooting for? I'll tell you who I'm rooting for. I'm not. Because
Who are you rooting for? Let me see.
Okay, so the only reason, I mean, I'm a New Orleans kid. I'm a Louisiana kid, and I love Angel. I love the whole team. But I want to see LSU South Carolina. So I want to see that rematch too. So I want to double my pleasure when it comes to rematches. So that's why I'm gonna take LSU more than anything. And on the other side, I'm gonna say it's JuJu's time. I'm gonna go with JuJu.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with JuJu. Although Paige's comeback has been incredible, and that's always cool when two schools, because that'd be cool if UConn was in it in both Final Fours, men and women again. But UConn's had their time. Like this resurgent USC program. The more we can like go back to Cheryl Miller and Lisa Leslie and the torch being passed to, or being lit again by JuJu Watkins in that program, I'm gonna go with USC. Again, we root for the stories, man. We root for the stories, and they're all great stories. But LSU South Carolina rematch is too tantalizing to not root for. And I want to see more of JuJu.
I know South Carolina.
Paige and Gino. See,
I
somebody
know
is
South
rooting for
Carolina
LSU. Take that, LA Times. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. I know South Carolina's undefeated, but they're not undefeated in a UConn NCAA tournament type of way. Not that they've just blown away teams. They've been challenged a couple of times. It's been close. You know, almost blew a 22-point lead the other night. Then they wound up winning that game by like, I think 4 or 5 points. So I know they're undefeated. They haven't blown teams away. However, I'm going South Carolina. I like this. When we get to the final, I'm just looking at the ones.
Oh, you skip it to the final. Okay.
So I'm saying just like when we get to the Final Four, you look at the ones are going to be represented. So Iowa versus LSU, I think Iowa's a better team. I think Iowa's better. You know, like Caitlin and Angel aside, I think Iowa's better. So I'm going to go with Iowa. USC versus UConn, I think USC's better. UConn has had some moments. They've bounced back lately. We've had some moments during the season where we've been so spoiled by UConn over the years that, you know, even getting to this point, losing here, there's some people in stores be like, what? Stores, Connecticut, we didn't get to the Final Four? What's wrong? Okay, nothing's wrong. You're a good program, but USC right now is a better team. So I'm going with USC. Going with USC and going with Iowa tonight.
Well, I know one thing. Either way, we can't lose. Whoever wins, whoever goes home, we can't lose. Like I think we'll get two classic matchups that are gonna have everybody talking tonight and tomorrow. It's gonna be a huge night for sport. Huge night for sport. You know, it's real distinguished when you say it in a singular, for sport.
Capital S. Sport.
And for the game. I ain't distinguishing between men and women. For the sport of basketball, for the game. A great night for the game.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.